Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about how I cleared my acne up. You guys have been asking me for months how I've been clearing up all of my acne, and so I decided to make this video for you. But before we sort of begin, I just wanted to say that there is really no miracle product for me to clear up my acne, because to clear up my acne I needed to take acne medication in the form of isotretinoin. And it's not because I didn't try other methods of clearing up my acne, trust me, I tried a lot of them. This is just the only way that I could get rid of my acne and stop all of the scarring that was happening around my cheeks, so that's what I did. So if you're not interested in taking acne medication to help your acne, then I'm not sure how much use this video will be for you, but this is my honest experience taking acne medication and all of the things that I tried before I resorted to it. So a brief history of my skin. When I was a teenager, I really didn't have any acne at all. I had like really bad blackheads on my nose and a couple of hormonal spots would pop up like once a month, but I'd get like a pimple a month and that was it. For me, a contributing factor in my teenage years was being on birth control at a fairly young age. I was put on the birth control Level Ed when I was 16 for really heavy periods. So I was on birth control for quite some time, and eventually I started to get migraines with a visual aura, so I couldn't see while having the migraines. I didn't have any pain, which was kind of nice, but I also couldn't see, so I couldn't really live my life. So there is also the risk of increased strokes if you have oral visions when you have migraines, so I was taken off the birth control. And that was all well and good. I tried a couple of other forms of birth control with the mini pill, so I can't take the combined pill, but I can take just the singular mini pill. And those really didn't work for me, but they didn't really affect my skin in any way. My skin was starting to get worse. And for quite a while I just sort of lived with it. So it was only just around my mouth, and you can see like one really big scar there from like a really big cystic pimple, which is the pimples that sit underneath your skin and they don't do anything and they throw up and they're really sore. So that's a scar from when I picked that. You can see a couple of scars around my chin, and those are really old, so those are about probably 2 years old I guess, and that's when I had all of the troubles around my chin. During that time I tried a lot of ways to get rid of the pimples. When I was young I did try the good old classics, St. Ives apricot scrub, which is that like heavy duty scrub, and that just made everything worse. I don't recommend using that scrub, it is way too harsh for your skin. I also tried using sort of like supermarket remedies for pimples, which is like the Clearasil like little spot treatments, and those sort of worked to an extent, but it didn't stop the pimples coming back. It just sort of helped them reduce in size and heal a little bit faster. I tried using a lot of astringent toners, and this is before I got into K-beauty and knew that astringent toners were actually really bad for your skin. And those really didn't work either. They just dried my skin out really badly, and the pimples would look worse because the skin around them was so dry. So eventually I went to the doctors and they gave me a form of topical treatment for acne and told me to try that out for a month and then come back if it didn't help. And because they didn't really tell me how to use it, I think I used like too much of it because it made my skin peel off and it was red and it was sore. Like they just gave me a tube and said, hey, you know, just use this. They didn't give me any parameters of you should use it and then wait and then moisturize afterwards maybe because it'll make your skin dry. No, they just gave me the tube of cream and said go for it. So that worked awfully. So I went back and I said no, that didn't work, and they said okay, we'll put you on a form of antibiotic acne medication. So they put me on doxycycline, which is an antibiotic acne medication, and my older brother had already been on it, and so he knew the side effects, he knew how it worked, and it worked for him really well. And I was on the doxycycline for I think about 4 to 5 months, and it worked really well. It got rid of all of my acne and my skin felt really great. The worst side effect for me was that I just got really dry lips from it, which is kind of normal, and that was pretty much it. The rest of me was fine. So I stopped taking doxycycline after the 4 or 5 months, and then 6 months later my acne was back in full force. This time however it wasn't just around my chin, it was also up my cheeks, which was kind of quite new for me. I've never really had any pimples like on my cheeks or on my forehead before, aside from like the odd one out. And then I found that my cheeks scar really badly, so I'd had like a lot of pimples on my chin before, and they never scarred that badly, apart from like that one was really bad. But all of the pimples on my cheeks scarred really badly, and you can't really see them at the moment because I have been fading them with vitamin C and niacinamide products, and that's working really well. was just really awful. Every pimple would leave a giant red scar and it was really depressing. So I went back and talked to my doctor and he recommended going to see a proper dermatologist. After talking to the dermatologist, she straight up just recommended that I go on isotretinoin because she said that would be the only thing that would help my acne. Luckily my acne is sort of like in the mid-range. It's definitely not severe and it wasn't mild either, so I was put on 10 milligrams of isotretinoin per day. And it worked really well for my skin. Obviously, I don't have any pimples at the moment. Yes. And the rest of my skin is quite fine. At the moment, I'm just wearing a moisturizer so you can see a little bit of shine, but otherwise it's pretty good. So I found that there are a couple of really average side effects of isotretinoin. The worst is that obviously I wear contact lenses and that makes your eyes really dry. So my eyes were dry to the point where I would be waking up in the morning and it felt like sandpaper in my eyes. It felt a bit like conjunctivitis, apart from it wasn't conjunctivitis, it was just very dry eyes. So obviously I needed to get some pretty heavy duty eye drops to combat that, so I used the Sustain Ultra Lubricating eye drops in the high performance, and these are amazing. The other side effect of course is very dry lips. My lips were getting dry to the point where I would wake up and then I would just have cracks all throughout my mouth, and my mouth would be like, would have blood on it in the morning because I move my mouth obviously when I sleep, and my lips would be cracking. There are a couple of ways around it. Obviously you just need to use a lot of lip balm and just have lip balm everywhere, which was really good to get rid of all of the random lip balms that I had. And throughout the day I generally favour the Clarins Moisture Replenishing Lip Balm, and this is like a holy grail for me. I think this is like my 5th tube of this. It's not like a drugstore price. It is about 40 New Zealand dollars to buy one of these, so it is a bit pricey, but it's probably the best lip balm I've ever tried. And then during the night I use my other holy grail, which is the Pure Smile Snail Lip Treatment, and this comes in different flavours. This one is just the honey flavour, and this is amazing. It stops your lips from drying out overnight, which is the hardest thing to do because I'm not going to wake up every hour and apply lip balm. That's just ridiculous. So this stays on my lips all night, and then it'll eventually sort of wear off when I eat or if I sort of wash it off, which is great. It leaves my lips feeling nourished and hydrated and not dry, and it absolutely saved me. Because my skin is originally quite oily, I didn't feel like for my skin that it got that dry. It definitely felt like dry to the touch, whereas before I would feel either moist or quite oily. So I found that when I slept I would like to use a night sleeping mask. So the one I had was the Maison Goodnight White Sleeping Pack, and that's totally fine. I don't feel like it was overly moisturizing, which is nice because I don't like to wake up feeling greasy or anything like that, but it just made it feel so like it wouldn't feel so tight in the morning, which is really nice. And other than that, for my skin, I just went to town on sheet masks. Like, I'm not sure if I can praise sheet masking enough. It's just like the godsend for my skin. Another thing that I think helped was switching to a low pH cleanser. The theory behind having a low pH cleanser is that your skin is slightly acidic, so you need a slightly acidic cleanser to keep your skin at the proper pH. And apart from that, basically for skincare, it stayed very similar to what I was doing before. I was using a lot of light layers of skincare, so a lot of lightly hydrating products just layered on top of each other rather than one really heavy cream or one really heavy serum, because I find that works best for my skin. And I have done years of experimenting of what works best for my skin, so obviously I cannot just tell you to go and buy this product because it's going to be good, because your skin is not the same as mine, and I've worked for years to find out what works best. But if you are struggling with acne, there are a couple of pointers that I have for you. The first is to make sure you're cleansing your skin morning and night and picking a really good cleanser that's not stripping. So most people think that you need to like scrub your skin so it feels like newborn baby skin, which sometimes can be good, but not every day, maybe like once or twice a week, or using a foaming cleanser that makes your skin feel squeaky clean. But if you are struggling with acne, I would encourage you to go towards a low pH cleanser. You don't need to use the Swim 37 Miracle Rose Cleansing Stick because it's about 40 New Zealand dollars, and that is kind of unaffordable for a lot of people. So pick something that's a little bit cheaper. The CosRx Good Morning something, I'll put it in the down bar, is a really good choice, and it's really inexpensive. My other tip is to make sure you wash your hands and your cell phone regularly. If you are a leaner or a face toucher, or if you've got long hair, you're probably touching your face a lot to get your hair out of the way, or if you're using your cell phone a lot, your cell phone is being pressed against your face. Otherwise, just wash your hands more regularly and be aware of touching your face. And while we're talking about things that actually touch your face, clean your pillowcases regularly. If you're like me and you've got a queen bed but you sleep by yourself, you've probably got 4 sets of pillows. So rotate those pillows so you don't sleep on the same one every night, or at least flip it over so you're not sleeping on the same thing every night. Alternatively, if you've only got one pillow, you can also use a towel and you can wrap that towel over the pillow, and that gives you a more hygienic place to put your face. It seems really weird, but I know people that don't change their pillowcases for like a month. And if you think about how many germs you have got on your pillowcase and how long your face sits on your pillowcase, that's kind of gross. So those are really simple steps just to be a little bit more hygienic with your skin, because it just depends on where your acne is situated. Obviously, if you've got acne in the shape of a phone around your face, maybe you should clean your phone. Another thing that my dermatologist told me to do was to avoid most dairy. That is kind of difficult if you are a cheese fiend like I am, or if you are addicted to chocolate, but in my case I'm more addicted to coffee than either of those things. So I was going through maybe like 2 or 3 coffees per day, and I would use the little sachets, and they contain the milk powder and a lot of sugar. So she advised me to stop drinking the little sachet coffees, which makes me really sad because they are delicious, and to also switch from light milk to full milk. But other than that, it is really difficult to fix your acne. A lot of people feel so self-conscious about their face because obviously when people talk to you, that's what they're looking at, and it can be hard when you have a lot of acne because you feel like people are looking at your acne rather than looking at you. And I would love to tell you that I had a secret sauce recipe of this one magic product that got rid of all of my acne. But in reality, I've tried a lot of different things, I've tried a lot of different products, and nothing really helped me apart from taking acne medication. And I've been taking this acne medication for 9 months. To start with, I did 10 milligrams per day for 3 months, and then I did 10 milligrams every second day for 6 months, and now I'm on to 10 milligrams twice a week for another 6 months, and then I'll be on to 10 milligrams once a week for 6 months, or maybe for the rest of my life. And yeah, it does suck because I have to stay out of the sunlight. Obviously, one of the biggest things for taking acne medication is you get sunburnt really easily, and one of the other things is that you cannot dye your hair, which is frustrating, and that's why I have 9 months of regrowth in my hair. And you also, probably more frustrating for me, you cannot wax anything. So for your hair, I understand that if you bleach it you may get chemical burns, which is not advisable, and if you wax your skin you may rip off a layer of skin, which is also really unadvisable. Also cannot get pregnant. It is written pretty much all over the box in this little red writing. There are major risks of birth defects. Effective birth control must be used. So you cannot use this if you are wanting to get pregnant, and you should be very safe with your contraception if you are using this. I mean, you should be pretty safe with your contraception anyway, but that is not my business. This is an acne medication video. But anyway, that is how I got rid of my acne, and hopefully it will stay like this. Obviously, if I come off the isotretinoin in maybe like a year, if I'm still making videos and my acne does come back, then I will make another video about that and what my next step would be. But I'm really hoping that it doesn't come back, because acne is awful. It's not fun for anybody, it's painful, and it's not the prettiest looking, and it makes you feel awful. So if you are looking to start taking acne medication, or if you're just looking for some simple tips to stop like that odd breakout, then I really hope that this video helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, because I will read them and help you out as best as you can, because obviously I have been through a bunch of acne stuff. And if I can even make one person feel a little bit better about themselves by putting my skin at its worst on the internet for everybody to see, then it would all be worth it to me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!